Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Comes to you live from the outskirts. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Comes to you live from the outskirts. For July 13th, 2019, with your host, Spaceburger2448, and Wrap It Up, Salon. 2019, with your host, Spaceburger2448.
Right, I had the stream up in the side. God freaking. For those wondering, that had me just as confused. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't have the stream open in Chrome. Oh, right, I have it in the app. Darn it.
Well, we've got a couple big things to talk about that coincidentally are both Nintendo related, because that's the only real... It feels like Nintendo's the only one that really does big news in between like the bigger shows.
I'm gonna be really mean right here. Maybe that's because Nintendo's the only one that has big news.
You do kind of have a point. To be honest.
That was one of those moments where I was like, this is going to sound really rude coming out, but yeah. Because, I mean, as far as Microsoft and Sony go, what are we kind of doing? Oh yeah, that's right, waiting on the next gen.
Waiting on the next gen. Waiting till next year to release our big titles.
So... yeah, they effectively have nothing to talk about now. Way to go, guys. Meanwhile, Nintendo is just in the, I'm gonna pump out everything.
Yeah, we've got 2 major Switch releases within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. And we're still hot off of the Mario Maker 2.
Yeah. That unfortunately has terrible online play.
To this, I'm gonna say Nintendo. Everyone is complaining that it's Nintendo's netcode. Okay, yes, while that may be true, we are kind of failing to remember that this is still essentially, I don't know, mid to late 360 era netcode issues. Like, Nintendo is in that age.
Yeah.
We are kind of still behind. Granted, I have to then also be like, okay, you did Splatoon good.
How do you muck this up?
Yeah.
How do you muck this up when I have seen Mario Royale, which is play Mario 1, except you're playing with 98 other people at the same time?
Like, way to go, guys. Way to go.
Well, before we get into news, Tommy, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
Well, all the Maker 2 stuff has kind of made me want to pick... well, has kind of made me pick up Maker again, and then immediately put it down because I remembered the important fact of I suck at 2D Marios. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on why, but I do. I wound up making another level and then realizing that at one point I apparently was pretty good, because I think one of my Maker levels only had like a 10% clear rate or something like that. So I'm like, okay, apparently I was decent enough to do that, Tried that level? Nope. Nope. I am just nope. But really that and getting the Splatoon theme for Tetris 99 is the only thing I've really done off stream
Yeah, I got that one pretty quick. I got a top 10 finish this last time I played Tetris 99 for this event.
Highest I got for this event, 13th.
Ooh. Getting up there.
And that was only once. Every other time, it's like the game said, no. Because it would pair me up in a lobby where I was knocked out within the first half. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Why?
Let's see. Besides stuff I've streamed, I'm caught up on Fort Bites in Fortnite outside of the one I need higher level in the Battle Pass tier is, which is 96. I need the laid back shuffle for a Fort Bite. Need the one for Battle Pass tier 100, and I need the one for 50 top 10s. And I'm at like 39. I actually got the 2 Fort Bites that require multiple people. Because here's the thing: the one that is the floor panel puzzle northwest of the block.
Yeah.
You can do that with as few as solo.
Oh wow.
Or because the vehicles count, they put down the pads, and there just so happens to be a camp with ballers just south of there. So get you 2 ballers, take them down there, put them on the plates, step on the third plate, and you got it. Meaning we could have done this Fort Bite, literally, because all we needed was 1 baller. But the other one, which is going to the villain's lair that was in the mountain and dancing on the dance floor to raise the disco ball, I got that in squad queue. But not with my teammates. What happened was, all of my team landed in Pleasant, which is just north of that location. But I marked it before we dropped, just to be like, hey, let's go here. And none of my team wanted to go. But I still went there. And I was going there and getting weapons. I heard the music playing of someone dancing. So I go through, I see someone from another team dancing, and then I dance with them, and then we both get the Fort Bite. And then he started hiding behind a pillar to not get shot by me, and I just shook my head no and left. But then I think I ended up killing one of his teammates, like later, like down the mountain and like out in front of it. And then he killed me after that, which is probably deserved at that point. I don't know, but that's what happened. That was the extremely dumb way I got that Fort Bite. But I pushed for the other Fort Bites because I found out, all right, I got 90 Fort Bites. I got Singularity unlocked, the skin Singularity unlocked. But her 2 tiers require the rest of the Fort Bites. You need to be tier 1. You need to be at Fort Bite 100 for tier 3. And tier 2 is 95. So I'm pushing for those. And I also found out that there are 5 style options, or like color options for her, that you unlock by picking up helmets on the map. So probably tomorrow after I do the notes for TGSR, I'm going to be going and getting those color options. And of course, I'm also done with all the week 10 challenges, so now I'm down to dailies. And according to my calculator, the calculator I've consulted, that says no, you can't. It's literally impossible. But there are 16 days left on the battle pass, and by my calculations, that's enough to get the rest of the levels just off dailies. I'm not sure if the calculator has the wrong end date, whether it's a week earlier or not, but like according to my numbers and that I've calculated, I should be able to get it with just daily.
So, when does this season end?
Not this Saturday, but I believe next Saturday, or not next Saturday, the Saturday afterward, the 27th, I think.
Because I am like nowhere near where I need to be to have next season's battle pass.
23rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 23rd is the end date. But according to the countdown timers that have popped up on the air stations, there is an event next week of some sort. I assume it has to deal with the giant robot that is being built in the volcano factory.
Probably, yeah.
Apparently, we're going to be seeing a giant robot fight a sea monster in Fortnite next week. So, yay! And apparently that's going to more than likely radically change the map going forward going forward in the season 10. Because we'll be out of fort bites by then, is the thing. And apparently, according to at least the wording from the Fortnite Twitter, there won't be fort bites next.
You kind of cut in and out right there.
Oh, okay. According to the wording of the Fortnite Twitter, supposedly, depending on if you interpret it this way, there will be no fort bites next season.
Yay.
But that means you will not be able to get the rewards that require fort bites, which are just about every skin.
To be fair, I don't care.
Very true. It just feels weird that, like, every season before now, you've been able to get a skin, and if you don't get the unlocks that season, you can keep going because it's not anything season specific. And now they're season specific.
Unless what it is they're season specific throughout that season, and then post-season they translate them into just regular experience like the others have been.
Experience or Outlast opponents, which seems to be the only two that they do.
Predominantly, anyhow.
Yeah.
Because the one skin that I've got, a lot of its upgrades are based around, like, destruction of stuff.
Oh yeah, there's that, and weeklies, I believe. I think the weeklies is another prominent one they've used.
Well, they'll probably just translate that to one of them.
Yeah. Which is fine. I'll probably be getting all the fort bites at this point because, coincidentally enough, we know every fort bite going forward. And we also know when they come out. Because data mining.
Of course.
And all the other fort bites are just go here and pick up a thing. Nothing fancy, nothing spectacular, just go here and pick up a thing and be done. So the rest of them are
more of the same. Why are we even doing this?
Yeah.
Concept for this season.
Yeah.
And you wonder why I didn't have any interest in the fort bites at all.
Yeah. Like, I wish the individual fort bites gave you a nugget of something. Whether it's a nugget of a level, a nugget of a battle star, or a nugget in form of experience, a nugget in the form of a battle star. Not like 10, but like a battle star. So here's a +1. Like, give you something for every single fort bite you get. That way, the in-betweens of the five, or I think it's every 5, I think, that they've been doing unlocks, you get something. Even if you're not doing the Battle Pass stuff, you get something for going and doing fort bites. Because even if I worked with you and grinded out fort bites, you're probably not going to get half the rewards for them because you're not that far in the Battle Pass.
Yeah.
So it's only useful for you at this point to get so many fort fights to get the most of the skins you have unlocked.
And quite frankly, like I said, I really have no interest in it because the bulk of them are go to XYZ and get it.
Yep. So yeah, I think the problem was they did 100 of them, and it was a case of, fuck, how do we do 100 challenges plus the already like 10 weeks worth of challenges we do and don't have any major overlap?
Yeah, how did they go from 70 to 170?
Yeah.
Without, like you said, without having major overlap. Because even the challenges have overlap.
Yeah.
I feel like, truthfully, where the problem comes in is they probably should have tied the fort bites into the challenges for each week. You got 100 fort bites. You've got 10 weeks. Maybe have a challenge being get 5 fort bites. That way you're not having to get the entire 10 for the people that don't want to just grind that. But then at the end of the day, you still get something for getting the fort bites.
Yep.
One of those happy medium concepts.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wish you also got something for each fort bite. Instead of this piece of a picture that people all figured out like 2 weeks in what it fucking was. It's just like, here's a nugget of experience or a nugget of a battle star or a nugget of something. Give us a nugget per fort bite. That way, like, you incentivize going to get that fort bite just for the thing it gives you. If you're gonna make us do dailies, make the daily worth it, because the daily hasn't been worth it, really.
Or, you know, that could be another thing right there. Make them replace the daily challenges.
Yeah. Yeah, that way you're not limited to 3. That way when you come in, you have go grind out battle stars through fort fights. That'd be even better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what I've been playing. What else? I can't think of anything. Wow. I have played other stuff this week. I have not gotten back to the Ruby novel. I really need to. Opening up Steam. I found a good way of grinding out Xenoverse. So I can actually probably do higher level content there. And I also found out like the optimum way to build in the game. So I reset my points to do that. I've tried out the auto chess for League, and I am terrible at it. And from what I was listening from Game Informer, apparently you have to play super optimal, or it was either them or Giant Bomb, in that you have to play super optimal in League auto chess all the time. Which kind of sucks. I've really been playing anything else on Steam. I don't think I've been playing anything else on Switch either. Granted, I'm playing 2 games twice a week on Switch in like a week or so. Like, it's probably going to be like Friday is going to be less of a pre-show and more, here's a bonus stream of me starting Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, because I'm not waiting till next Wednesday to play Ultimate Alliance 3 after picking it up. And I also kind of don't want to do the same thing I did with Spider-Man, where I started my own save file and then the stream save file. I'd rather just do my file on stream.
I can see that.
I found out that I can mod Radiant Dawn. So as soon as I figure out how to do the XP gain on Radiant Dawn, and also get all the stuff to mod it, that might be a stream thing at some point.
Oh boy.
Is where I crank up the XP gain to like, how about 3 times what it normally is supposed to be? To make sure we get all those level 3 unlocks or level 3 classes, because fuck it. Radiant Dawn is too goddamn long and too many units that you have to juggle around for it to work. No, we are cranking this experience up to a ludicrous degree, and we are playing it then, because it's the only way I'm getting through Radiant Dawn. I can't think of anything else. So, shall we talk news?
I guess we shall.
Alright, first up, do you remember the original Mortal Kombat movie?
No.
Okay. I barely remember it. I think I've seen it. I want to say I've seen it. Anyway, we have a new Mortal Kombat movie coming, and it is rated R and will have fatalities. So somebody will be uppercutted, and their head will blow off, and 1,000 rib cages will explode out of them.
Just 1,000?
I mean, I don't know what the CGI budget is.
If it's just 1,000, that's not enough.
But the premiere of South Australia announced the film was starting production back in May. And they confirmed that Joe Taslim of The Raid will be playing Sub-Zero. And today, as of 2 days ago, they confirmed, hey, we're R-rated, we got fatalities, we are the proper Mortal Kombat movie for having people be snapped in half and ripped apart in very gory and bloody ways. So are you excited?
Eh.
To be fair, I don't blame you.
I mean, eh.
It's one of those cases.
Game to movie transitions that never work.
Detective Pikachu works.
That is the exception, not the rule.
Very true. I don't know. I'd have to wait and see. Because, we have a Monster Hunter movie coming from the Resident Evil, and oh boy, does that not look good from everything that's been shown for it. So, I have a feeling, no, nothing is guaranteed. But we got better news.
Is it Pokemon related?
It is indeed Pokemon related. We have new Pokemon and new trainers, or new gym leaders, and a new mechanic that gives us new forms, and an exclusive thing that might make people angry. I'm not sure. I haven't heard a lot about this part talked about. So first up, the new Pokemon. First up, we have the rock type Roly-Coly, which is literally a hunk of coal. It is literally a hunk of coal.
We are getting super creative here. Just saying.
Well, here's the thing. It has the ability Steam Engine, which means if it's hit by a fire type or a water type move, its speed stat increases by 3 stages.
Steamroll. Its move where it uses itself.
Yep.
I swear that's going to go around. You watch.
And let's see, heat proof I believe we've had before. Yeah, halves damage done by fire type moves. We also have the new fairy type, which is slightly out of order from how they're pictured. El Creamy, which is literally whipped cream the Pokemon. That also produces whipped cream that you can eat because they work in sweet shops.
Well, the Pokemon you can eat. So we've got a Pokemon you can use, a Pokemon you can eat. I feel like we're getting a trend going here.
Well, we also have the Steel Dragon type Duraldian. I'm gonna go with Duraldian. And it's essentially this is the Mega Godzilla counterpart to the Larvitar Godzilla analogy. Like, this is just Mecha you can consider this Mecha Larvitar. Or not Larvitar, Tyranitar. And finally, the full reveal for the Pokemon we saw back at the E3 demo, Yamper, the good boy, the good electric boy. But no Impidimp. That's still not been fully revealed yet. Although we are supposed to have a bit of Pokemon news come out, I believe next week during the Pokemon channel thing on Japanese television. There's no word if it's new information or a recap of information we've already gotten, but we might have Impidimp there. We also got some new characters. First up, we have Chairman Rose. He's the chairman of the Galar League. He's president of a large business conglomerate. He made the league famous by implementing gym battles featuring the Dynamax phenomenon. We have his secretary, Oleana. She's also vice president of the company. And she's in charge of day-to-day stuff. And then we have 2 new gym leaders. Except, depending on the version, you will be fighting one of these 2 gym leaders at the same city.
Well then.
Yep. So, if you're picking up Pokemon Sword, you'll be fighting Thea, a fighting type gym leader. But if you're picking up Pokemon Shield, you'll be fighting Alistair, who is a ghost type gym leader. So now we have exclusive gyms. And I am surprised I've not heard more people talk about this.
I don't really like that idea.
I have to agree with you. This is, I feel like, skirting the edge of what we should have as exclusive.
Yeah. I mean, it might work, but that's pushing our limits there.
Yeah. But in slightly better news, we have an extension of Dynamaxing called Gigantamax. And it more or less combines Mega Evolution and Z moves into one thing. Because when you Gigantamax a Pokemon, not only do they have a form change, but they also get a new and exclusive move. So for instance, we have Gigantamax Dreadnought, who gets Stone Surge, which deals damage and also scatters rocks, like a Stealth Rock, I believe, is the move I'm thinking of. That damage Pokemon when they enter the battlefield. Then we have Corviknight, who gets Wind Rage, that deals damage and also removes the effects of Reflect, Light Screen, Spikes, and Electric Terrain from opponents. So it's just no, you don't get this anymore. And finally, and probably a bit broken, is Alcremies, who gets Finale, which deals damage and also heals all of your party members.
Holy crap.
I'm not sure by how much, but it heals your party while also dealing damage. It's a free... That is stupidly good. An in-battle heal in Pokemon?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is all our brand new Pokemon. So, we feeling better or worse about Sword and Shield? After the whole National Dex situation and all that conversation that I feel like has dominated the Sword and Shield conversation.
I feel like a mix of both. Like, I'm not a fan of the exclusive gems.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, I guess maybe they're wanting to break from some of the traditions since this is a new forte for them.
Yeah. And it gives, like, more differences between them, which is something. Because doesn't it feel like sometimes like the differences between the two Pokemon not as big?
Yeah, usually.
Because it's like minor story differences in different Pokemon you can catch. And that's kind of it. So I can appreciate that they're trying to differentiate them more, but I don't know if Gym Leader is the right option, but then, like, what is at that point?
Very true.
I feel like Sword and Shield are more or less going to be one giant experiment for Game Freak in terms of, okay, we are now on a thing with more horsepower, more things we can do with it. What do we even do with this anymore? We've been portable for so long, and now we have so much more power. What do we even do with it? Like, this franchise has been going for 20 plus years now? Like, we're kind of in it. I feel like I know people have been griping about Sword and Shield with like the National Dex changes and that, but I'm like, feels like Sword and Shield are still kind of experimental. Which is probably why, yes, we have new models, but we still have reused animations because I guess we're still experimenting with what we can do. And also, I liked how Jaywitz on YouTube pointed out that, you know what the highest grossing media franchise in the world is?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Pokemon.
Yep. And you know what the center cog of all of that merchandising that it does is?
What?
That would be the video games. So, you know, all the card game stuff, all of the merchant, all of the like toys, all of the like everything else that comes out with Pokemon is all centered around the video game. So if the video game doesn't come out on time, guess what else gets delayed? Everything. Everything. Like, the anime's got to be delayed, which means the movies that are in association with the anime probably got to get delayed, but they've kind of separated the movies now. Maybe?
Possibly.
But yeah, that pushes the anime back, which pushes the dub back, which pushes toys back, which pushes card game stuff back, which pushes all the merchandise and toy stuff back. It pushes everything back, and that's a lot of money loss. Like a lot. Like, we're talking millions, most likely, lost because you didn't meet the deadline. So, if you're asking for Sword and Shield to be delayed, it can't happen. It literally cannot happen. It has got to come out this year. So yeah, I still want to pick up Pokemon Sword. I think Sword is the one I'm going to go for. I'll wait and see what exclusive new Pokemon. Because right now we only have exclusive old Pokemon, and that's like, eh. I've caught all them, I'm good.
Exclusive new Pokemon, none, because we've just made exclusive gems.
That would be so weird.
And so bad at the same time.
Yeah. But anything else? Any impressions on the new Pokemans?
No.
Not picking out any for your team.
Not yet. I think it'd be too early.
Yeah, especially since we don't know when certain Pokemon will be available to us. That's like the one downside to trying to build your team in your head at the moment, because you don't know when you'll get some of these Pokemon. Because I can almost guarantee Duraldian is going to be a late edition, considering it's Dragon. Dragons are rarely, if ever, an early addition to the team, or to your team. But in other news, you remember how we got a whole bunch of Final Fantasy back?
You broke in and out on that one.
God damn, what is I don't know what's causing this. I don't know if it's my mic is just ever so slightly away that it doesn't catch.
It's probably that.
Okay. Anyway, you remember when we had a bunch of Final Fantasy VII related titles back? Like Crisis Core and Dirge of Cerberus?
Yeah.
Well, did you know that they made a phone title?
No.
Well, they made a phone title that only came out in Japan. That was also a prequel. You know, just like how Crisis Core was a prequel. Called Before Crisis. And not only have people translated it, they have imported it in the RPG Maker.
That's not surprising.
I was like, okay, they translated. Cool. Wait, what do you mean they imported it in the RPG Maker? Excuse me? What?
That doesn't surprise me because Phantasy Star Online 2 kind of had complete framework patches to where all the dialogue that was text was properly translated. Granted, it couldn't change the voice dialogue, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like this just no longer surprises me.
Yeah. I was just kind of surprised, and also, hey, if you want to play this phone game, if you are super into Final Fantasy VII, here you go. It's available now, for now, as the article puts it.
Yeah. Because I wouldn't be surprised if Square said, "No, take it down."
No, you're not allowed to play this, even though this literally only came out in Japan, and it's a phone game, and I mean an ancient phone game that you probably can't even get buy anymore. I will look, because we are talking back in the flip phone era. By the way, that's a no. I am literally not seeing it. I am seeing every other Final Fantasy game you could play and or buy on mobile, and none of them is before Crisis. I wouldn't be surprised if Square Enix is like, did we make this? I don't remember making this. Did we make this? Was this the thing we actually made? Well, and I guess not surprising news, because we all saw this coming. The Switch Lite is now official and announced. And it's coming in 2 months for $200.
I'm disappointed that Nintendo didn't go with the new Nintendo Switch.
We can't use the 3DS naming scheme, because this is not a replacement for the 3DS.
Right, keep telling yourself that. A
I'm not.
handheld only version of the Switch. But that's not replacing the 3DS. The Switch is definitely not the 3DS's successor.
Yeah, it's totally not like Pokemon has swapped over to the Switch.
You know what's going to keep happening? They're going to keep this as a running gag.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those, I believe, isn't the 3DS super dead right now too?
Its last major release was a few weeks ago with Persona Q2, and there has not been an announcement of a game to come to it since. Nor was there one before Persona Q2 came out, so I don't know what to tell you.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Switch effectively both kill the Wii U and 3DS simultaneously?
I mean, probably.
But it's not 3DS's successor. No, not at all.
Well, in terms of specific specifications, you can get 3 different color options: yellow, gray, and turquoise. You can see them down below. Can we get that not yellow? Because I don't like the yellow. If it was a bit of a darker yellow, I think it'd be fine, but it's a bit too bright. I think the gray and turquoise is fine.
To be fair, that is better than the neon yellow Joy-Cons.
Oh, we got neon yellow to talk about later. There's also a Pokemon Sword and Shield version coming. I think it might be Japan only at the moment. We will be getting official carrying case and screen protector for it as a set. It will not have a kickstand, but it will support controllers as normal and will sport a real D-pad. No Joy-Con attachments. The controllers are integrated.
That's gotta be a double-edged sword right there, in my opinion. I'm fine with that, but then that also makes me question as to why they even added controller support.
For I guess local multiplayer stuff.
Okay. If one person is physically holding it, how's the other person gonna see it?
That's true.
Welcome to Half-Baked Ideas by Nintendo.
That is a very good point. Oh well. I guess you just don't use that controller embedded in the console.
Meaning that you would have to have another controller and or Joy-Cons.
Yep.
Way to go, Nintendo. Way to go.
There's also no TV out feature, so you cannot plug this into the dock to stream to your TV. It is portable only.
But
Or portable mode only.
That's what confuses me. I was under the assumption that the card that's in the dock is what did the translating. And that it was a software deal for the Switch as to how that was done, not a hardware.
I guess maybe they took it out because this is also 0.61 pounds instead of 0.88. So maybe they took out the stuff on the Switch itself.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think there would be any hardware on the Switch to do that. All the hardware should be in the dock.
Well, I know the port for it doesn't exist because there's a port on the Switch for it.
I have to argue with you on that. The port has to exist.
What, to attach to the dock?
To attach to a USB-C charging cable that it still uses. And it would more than likely still have to be on the bottom because you can see the top even in the pictures that are there and it looks identical to the Switch.
I was about to say, I've seen the bottom of it and it is missing a port. One second.
Like, I need a picture of the bottom. Like, super bad, and Nintendo's refusing to give it. Okay, yeah, there's the picture of the bottom that I was needing. Yeah, the USB-C port is still right there in the middle. So, in theory, unless it's thicker than the Switch, which I doubt, because, you know, that kind of negates the whole light concept.
Very true.
It should fit into the dock. So that's actually something that I'm kind of like, wait, does the Switch actually have hardware that causes the TV out? I thought that should all be in the dock.
That feels like someone needs to have a conversation about.
Now, I will say this, if it's software, because we don't have access to that stuff, maybe they just have it turned off in the software. But that seems weird to have two different versions of the OS, unless they've had it programmed all along to where it recognizes if it's the Switch Lite, then don't do TV out.
Mm-hmm. Which means if somebody hacks this, they can just do TV out. So
yeah, and
you now just have a lighter switch. They could just plug it to the dock.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got 2 months to find out on that one.
So yeah.
We also have a longer battery life, 3 to 7 instead of 2.5 to 6.5. Although more demanding titles like Breath of the Wild will only last 4 on the light.
And I'm wanting to say it lasted 3 on the regular. So
you get an extra hour.
But you know what that tells me? That actually tells me 2 things. One, I'm sure they're pulling launch numbers. And Breath of the Wild had that nice little update where it overclocks the processor.
Ooh, yeah.
So while that 3 might still be true for Breath of the Wild on the regular Switch, it lasting 4 on the Switch Lite tells me that it's not just a Switch Mini like we were led to believe, that it's possible it's got some upgraded tech to it. Like, it might not be where we would expect like a Switch Pro, so to say, but it's not what the Switch was at launch. Because, I'm sorry, if you're overclocking, you're going to be using more power.
Yep.
So it would make sense if it had a stronger processor in the Switch Lite, then it wouldn't have to overclock it so much as it would have to just bring the game to a solid use, making the battery life last longer because it's not having to pull more.
Yeah, there was a patent going around about some revisions to the Switch hardware that Nintendo put out, or that Nintendo registered for. I didn't look super into it, so I didn't check what was changed.
I'd say processor for one. Because it seems funny, both Odyssey and Breath of the Wild got that update push, so that told me that was a test on their 2 biggest titles for it to see if that was something. Also, with at least Odyssey, not so much Breath of the Wild, but Odyssey load times have changed drastically. Like, to put it in comparison, PS4 or Xbox One to X/Pro kind of change to it. So yeah, that might be where we're going. We might be seeing a, for lack of a better term, Switch Pro.
Yeah, I think it's been confirmed to be delayed, but I think we've already knew it was going to be delayed. We're not here, maybe next year, if anything.
I'd say next year. And here's why I'm kind of thinking that. How better than to delay the Switch Pro than to have it directly competing with the Xbox whatever wild number we're gonna do. I'm still sticking to Xbox 10 because, you know, Windows 10 was life for Microsoft. But that and the PS5, I could see that being a good competitor.
I still go for 480 squared.
Granted, knowing Nintendo well enough to know they're not in the market to be competing with them anymore, it might be that whole anniversary kind of concept.
Yeah.
We might see it in a March time slot.
It'll support everything that can be in handheld mode, so if the game does not support handheld mode, you cannot play it on the Lite. So bear that in mind.
So nothing.
I have to feel like there might be some games on the Switch that don't support handheld mode.
I actually don't think there is.
Okay. Well, there might be some caveat with their handheld modes then, because there seems to be like it's noteworthy that some games will have restrictions. So maybe there's some checks there of just like, well, you can play it in handheld mode, but it's not the best in handheld mode.
The only thing I can think of is if Nintendo's planning on releasing something that is TV only mode. But why? I don't know.
I was about to say, why?
I don't know.
I was about to say, why? That's getting rid of the entire point of the Switch.
I would say hardware limitation, but how? It can't be in 1080? Boo-hoo.
Yeah.
I mean... But that's the only thing I can think of, because I can't think of any... I can't think of any kind of third-party title that would even be something that would have to be TV only.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've had stuff the opposite way, where there's certain games that are really handheld only.
Yeah, the Whirlwinds of You remix is, from what I heard from a review, is best in handheld mode. It's actually not. It's better in handheld mode than it is in docked because of how it plays.
There's even some indie titles that are legitimately handheld only. I think it's a lot of the like rhythm-based ones, but still.
Yeah. It's also
maybe
smaller.
Nintendo was just doing that for like what ifs kind of deal.
Yeah, I got the page pulled up. It's also smaller. Instead of 4 by 9.4 by 0.55, it's 3.6 by 8.2 by 0.55.
Which, that's a duh. It's got a 5.5-inch screen as opposed to the Switch's 6.3, I think it was. It's some kind of weird one that I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely on the smaller side. And yeah, Pokemon Edition, linked in the article. So yeah, this isn't for me, because my Switch stays in the dock because I don't play it in portable mode, because I have no reason to play it in portable mode. Really?
This honestly isn't for me. I like having both options. Because I do kind of use my Switch as a portable, but at the same time I use it as a it stays in the dock kind of deal.
Yeah. When I was at college, actually, I saw people at the front desk in my dorm playing Breath of the Wild. Just the person at the front desk just playing Breath of the Wild, because you could do that with a Switch. And I was like, yeah, I know this is Breath of the Wild. I can literally hear it's Breath of the Wild. I didn't even need to look at the screen. Because I think it was like the shrine sound effects and stuff is how I could tell it was. Well, in worrying news, personally speaking, you remember the Avengers game from Square Enix and company and crew, right?
Yeah.
Well, they'll be at Comic-Con showing it off in Hall 8. But if you will only see the full gameplay reveal if you're at the event.
Boo.
Yeah, I don't like this because this game is already on the back foot, being the fact that it's a live service game and everything that is attached to that. And that game, the footage we saw at E3 was looking like, and reports coming out of people who sat down, who were like, got to see a private demo at E3 were saying it was kind of bad on the frame rate end. Like, bad. Like, we're talking like 10 to 20 on a 60 frame game. Like, it is super noticeable that this game is still in development and still very rough. Like, extremely rough.
Still very rough around all of its edges.
I think it was talked about how the most polished aspect of it is actually the Hulk gameplay. It's like, that's the most polished it looked. Otherwise, everything else had some very, very rough edges to it for a game that comes out in 11 months. Which, it can certainly change in 11 months, but, you know, everything else about it makes me concerned, and that doesn't help. Yeah, this game makes me scared and worried, and I'm not into it. It needs to come out first, and I need to see how it is in its first 6 months before I even attempt to invest time into it. Because I am super not about to invest time into it if it's going to be extremely not fun and enjoyable in its first 6 months to a year. And considering some live service games, 2 years to get good. Because that is how long some live service games have taken to get good. So, no, I'm not on board. How about you?
No.
I have my Avengers game. It's called Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. It'll be fun. I don't care if it feels like it came out of the fucking 90s game design and shit. I still want to play it because it will be fucking fun. It will be far more fun than this right now, I feel like. And that's it for news. It's time for releases. And we got a couple good ones in here, mainly the Switch ones. Kicking things off on the 16th, we have Distrust for Switch, Enter the Gungeon for Switch, which I need to get back to and do some more runs on. Like, I like Gungeon. My only problem is that every run, it feels like you're starting from scratch. Right now for me, and I wish there was something that made me go, all right, I feel better going into this run because I do feel stronger going in through repeated uses. Or the repeated runs. That's why I think I would like Void Masters more. Because, like, you have upgrades and stuff you get every run that you keep. So, even if you fail really early because of stuff, like, you still make progress. We also have Forklift, the Simulation for Switch. Let's Sing 2019 for Switch, Lost Orbit, Terminal Velocity for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch, and Must Dash Amigos for Xbox One. On the 17th, we have Initial 2, Next New Stage for Xbox One, Let's Go Nuts for Switch, and Red Matter for PlayStation 4. On the 18th, we have Archillion Saga for Switch, Battle and Crash for Switch, Caladrius Blaze for Switch. I'm gonna go with that. Eastville Chronicles, The Drama Queen Murder for Switch, Etherborn for Switch, Growtopia for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Royal Rose for Switch, Tarot Readings Premium for Switch. That sounds like some mobile shit that's just got ported to Switch.
A lot of indie titles are.
Okay.
We also hate saying that, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it has Android platform stuff into it, right? So I assume it's an easy port job.
I can't remember what engine they actually are using.
I feel like it's
really it'd be more the engine. I know it is running a Linux base, but that doesn't necessarily mean nothing.
I want to say
if it can only read like Unity or Unreal without having some kind of a wrapper, then that still changes a lot.
I want to say it was like Android or NVIDIA Shield, something along that. I assume making mobile port really is why we see so many mobile titles.
I think we see so many mobile titles because the Switch is a not console, not portable, but almost mobile.
Yeah.
Like it's in that super hard gray zone and no one really knows what it is still.
But it works and it sells well. We also have World Cruise Story for Switch coming out on the 18th. On the 19th, we have Astro Bears for Switch. Jim is moving out for Switch. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order for Switch. I'll probably be streaming it like way earlier than our normal pre-show time because you're just going to get a bonus stream from me on Friday. Is what's going to happen. I'll probably be starting at like 7 or something and just go like till we play Portal 2.
Oh, yeah.
I was about to say, it'll still be Portal 2.
I forgot.
We also have Mini Trains for Switch, Redeemer Enhanced Edition for Switch, Rogue Legacy for PlayStation 4 and Switch, Telefrag VR for PlayStation 4, and Welcome to Henwell for Xbox One. On the 22nd, we have Rise Race to the Future for Switch. And on the 23rd, we have Carven Stories for PlayStation 4, Data Live Rio Reincarnation for PlayStation 4, Run the Fan for Switch. On the 24th, we have Battleship for Switch and Power Rumi for Xbox One and Switch. And on the 25th, we have Caged Garden Cook Robin for Switch, Fantasy Strike for PlayStation 4 and Switch, Furwind for Xbox One, Mighty Switch Force Collection for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch. That's from Way Forward, actually. I've been seeing it because I follow Way Forward on Twitter, so I've been seeing that. And, shit. Crap, now I can't think of it. Wow. I've been seeing it so much, and now I forget the name of it. A new 2D brawler from Way Forward. With female protagonist, River City Girls. It actually looks really good. We also have Raiden 5 Director's Cut for Switch, Moots Summer Games for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch, Songbird Symphony for PlayStation 4 and Switch, The Ninja Saviors Return of the Warriors for PlayStation 4 and Switch, and Zombie Driver Immortal Edition for Switch. And finally, on the 26th, we have Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I'll probably also do a bonus stream on that Friday as well, before we do maybe Portal 2, depending on if we don't get through all of Portal 2 next week. Because I'll just jumpstart that one before I pick it up the next Thursday. That also is looking really good. Apparently the school stuff has a bit of a frame drop into it, but nothing bad. But otherwise, it's sounding really good. Game Explain's apparently spent... one of the Game Explain people have spent a week playing it for review for 2 weeks from now. Because each of the 3 routes are about, I believe they said, 80 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can pick one of 3 houses during the course of the game, and that is your group of units, your primary group of units throughout the game. So each of those 3 routes is about 80 hours. So that is 200 plus hours to play all 3 routes.
Oof.
Because I believe it, for all intents and purposes, the game is split into two halves. The first half is the school half, where you're teaching the students and raising their levels and getting them different classes and stuff. And then you transition into the second half of the game, which I assume is more like going from level to level to level, whereas the school half has a lot of micromanaging, a lot of Persona-esque like support stuff. So there's a lot to do, and I am excited. It looks good. Anyway, also on the 26th, we have a Hover for PlayStation 4, Kill la Kill the Game If for PlayStation 4 and Switch, Remothered Tormented Fathers for Switch, Cedars Puzzle Reboot for Switch, Sheep in Hell for Switch, Tetsumo Party for Switch, Titans Pinball for Switch, Wolfenstein Cyber Pilot for PlayStation 4, that's a VR title for reference, folks, and Wolfenstein Youngblood for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch. And that is it on releases, which brings us to quick draws. And yes, we'll talk about the new Rider now, like 3 days after it got fully leaked and stuff. So that's the reason I just linked the Tumblr tag essentially for this one Tumblr, because it's a lot of the information has been spread across multiple different posts because it's been ongoing in terms of information. Like just today, we found out that 01 starts in September. Specifically September 1st, which means that gives us 6 episodes of Geo left.
Yeah, I mean, no, yay.
Oh no. Yeah, I guess going down to not the drawings, but the initial toy scan stuff, and you can kind of show that off while I guess, talk about the actual stuff in here. So first up, we have the 01 driver is coming with the Rising Hopper ProRise key. That is our gimmick this year, which are these little like cassette gimmick device things. I don't know what else to call these, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you know how else to call these?
No.
Okay. But yeah, our main rider is 01, and he has a hopper top, what the full suit looks like. And how you feeling about that neon yellow? Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's neon yellow on black with I think a bit of silver. We also have that are here the DX ProRise holder with the Rushing Cheetah ProRise key. Yes, that's the right order. We also have the 01 driver and ProRise holder set, so you can get both of them together. Then we have our secondary rider, Vulcan, who has the. Let me make this bigger for myself so I can actually read this, because it's really tiny for me. The Shoot Riser, the AIM's Shoot Riser driver with the Shooting Wolf ProRise key. By the way, his driver is legitimately a gun. That's just a gun that you could just pull off and shoot people with, I believe. And this is our secondary rider, Vulcan. Then we have the DX Force Riser with Sting Scorpion ProRiser key. I believe technically not our tertiary rider, but I believe a Dark Rider using a Scorpion-based key. His name is Horobi. We also have a 5th rider, because by the way, he's the 4th or 5th rider, which is Jin. He's also using that, and he's using the Flying Falcon key. Then we get into a bunch of form changes. Because we'll have the Progress Key Connector with the Amazing Hercules Progress Key, which I believe that is the robot mode in the second to last picture. By the way, yes, that is like a Max Mighty-esque form for 01. Actually, is that one? No, that's a different. My bad. That's not the right one. That's the Mammoth Key, I believe. Yeah, that's the Breaking Mammoth form with Breaking Mammoth Pro. The Key Connector is a different thing somewhere in this nonsense. I wish this was better organized. God, I wish this was better organized at some point. Then we have a Flying Falcon, Fighting Shark, Flaming Tiger, Freezing Bear, Punching Kong, Lightning Hornet, and Shining Harper Progress Keys, and Assault Wolf Progress Keys. The Shining Harper and Assault Wolf, they believe, are our first form changes for the year. Because then we have a set for those two, and those are for 01 and Vulcan. And then the Breaking Mammoth, which is the Max Mighty-esque form. Then we have some weapons that are in the post above all stuff that I am looking. We have the Attaché Caliber, the Attaché Shotgun, and the Attaché Arrow, which are all weapons that fold up into suitcases. And I believe these are for 01 Vulcan and I forgot his name already. I am still getting used to all these names. Hirobi, because of their colors. And then we have the Authorized Buster and a DX Rise Phone. The Buster, I believe, is for the I believe the first form changes, the Shining Hopper and the Assault Wolf ones. And the Rise is totally not the Build's bike kind of redone, because it's also a cell phone. This is totally not Bill's bike again. Totally not.
It is totally Bill's bike all over again.
I know, it's the most hilarious part of all of this. I'm like,
did
01, why did you steal his bike?
Did they literally just repaint the bike?
I don't think so. It looks different enough.
I feel like it has the same kind of hard plastic, supposed to look like saddlebags on the back of it that Build's had.
Yeah.
I feel like they practically said, okay, we're going to repaint this.
Uh-huh.
And to this, I'm going to say, did Geo put a budget, like a hard budget, on everything going forward for a little while they make money back? Because, you know, Geo isn't going to make them money.
Oh, apparently the toys have done well. It's the show that has turned out bad. The toys have done extremely well, from what I've heard. It's the show that's done bad. Which finally brings us to Rider Kick figures, and I'm not going to go over all of them, but we do have our 5 main characters. 01, Vulcan, Valkyrie, thus confirming we legitimately have a female main rider, or female tertiary rider off the bat that does have a form change. She's the one with the Hornet Rise card. Because she has Rushing Cheetah to start with, and then she has she has Hornet. Yeah, 01 is Rising Hopper, Shooting Wolf, Rising Cheetah. Okay, it's not listed in the Rider Kit figure stuff, but I know she has Hornet. Because if you look at the picture for the Hornet one, that is the Valkyrie design. Just as like the Gorilla one, I believe, is for Vulcan. So yeah, we have a female rider with a form change at the beginning of the series, which is really cool. And God, I hope she doesn't get fucked over in character development and story.
You know as well as I do, either that will happen or she'll get killed off really early.
Yeah, because for reference, she doesn't have her own driver. She's sharing the same driver as Vulcan. They're both using the gun one, which I guess I'm okay with. I find it just hilarious that this is just a gun as a belt buckle that could just be pulled off and just shoot at people with. And also, there is a continuation of the legend part. Rider kick figure. They're diving double. More or less, we're just getting base double with the Hardboilder, Axel, Eternal, Fang Joker, and Skull. So for those who care about the Rider Kick line, it is continuing. If you go up from there, we have a in live action actual Vulcan suit shot, so you can see how Vulcan looks like in his base form, and also what the driver looks like, I guess, popped off. And also, as someone said, it was in their parking lot, but I think this is on that one roof that they always use.
It looks like it's on that one roof that they always use.
Yep.
And I love how that's a screenshot on a phone of a picture of another phone.
Yes. Yes, it. Oh my God! What is this?
Phoneception.
Jesus. Finally, going up from there, we get a look at, I guess, the internals of the Progrise keys. It confirms that the key can open up and reveal the skeleton of the animal within. And it looks like there's no key on it, like the ride watches and the shift cars and all that have, which means they might be like crap. What I'm thinking of, what's in amiibos? Shit, I can't think of it.
Yes.
Those chips. It might be those chips, which they've used before because the wizard rings have.
The only other thing, that second picture is the back of one, correct?
It's actually it flipped open. Or yeah, the second picture is of the back, yes.
I see something up there that looks similar to a QR code.
Oh, all of the rider gimmicks have had QR codes on them. Those are for Gomberizing.
Well, what I was going to say is, who's to say they're not going to try to use something like that?
Maybe?
If that interacted with some kind of a camera of sorts, they could set up so many of them into it.
True. But that would be weird because they've used that for years and never used it in any of the toys. Only been for Gomberizing uses. To scan it into the arcade game.
I feel like it's going to be a question of how bad do they want people to quit hacking the drivers? Because
I was about to say, I don't think a QR code's going to stop them.
No, it wouldn't stop, but it would slow it down drastically. Because there can be so many different combinations for QR codes that it would be hard to just be like, okay, I bought it, okay, I just now figured them all out.
Yeah.
Like, that would stop that. It wouldn't necessarily stop it altogether, but it would at least stop same day, alright, I've already figured it out.
Yeah. RFID chips, that's what I'm looking for. I would say it probably take longer than the Wizard Driver to hack because someone did hack the that came out and was able to duplicate all the RFID chips that were registered in it. So we knew every wizard ring in there. Which confirmed that there were wizard rings that are in the belt that were never used. And I think they were all spell rings.
I was going to say, which doesn't surprise me.
That's the one time I can say, no, someone legitimately hacked the driver, because that actually takes actual computer knowledge to actually do. Instead of with the key system, which is just press all combinations and see what pull comes out.
But, okay. In the same sense, if they are using the RFID chips again, who's to say they wouldn't use the same concept they already did with the wizard stuff?
That would not surprise me.
Meaning the exact same way that it's already been found out for the wizard stuff will break this wide open.
Yep.
That's why I'm kind of thinking, I wonder if they'll think outside the box.
Well, we got some food advertisements, I believe is what these are, along with that prize key that show off 01, I believe his hawk form change, which I believe just confirms that the armor kind of goes on top of the suit, which it's not in this batch, but I've seen a picture of I want to say the Red Kick figures better in terms of showing like how the armor goes on. And more or less it's just a blank black figure that just the yellow bits go on and off, which will probably be similar to what Soto does. Because they've been doing that for any rider that requires armor pieces of just, here is the suit that you plug all the armors on. There's that, 01, Vulcan and Valkyrie, more 01, and then 01 with two of his form changes and his attaché count. And that is it. How are you feeling about the new Rider series on initial first impressions?
It's not Geo.
That might be the best compliment either one of us can show at this point.
Like, we were talking about this before we actually transitioned over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel it's right to judge a show before we get to see anything of it. But at the same time, I also don't feel like we should judge it off of the first episode either. So I feel like that's a question of, I'm not looking one way or the other in light of Geo. So we'll come back to that in the middle of September and see.
Yeah. I still need to see who's producing the show in terms of who's our writer, who's our director, like what's our creative team here, because that tells me more about what the quality of the show would be going in than this. This tells me the quality of the toy line and stuff. And for the people who only care about the toys and stuff and don't give two shits about the show, this is the deciding factor for you, I feel like, right now.
You know, what I feel would make me be willing to watch probably the entire series is if in episode 1 we managed to find a way to write out Geo altogether.
Well, I have bad news for you. There is the pictures and listings for a 01 ride watch. But it is only for if you pre-order the driver, apparently.
Well, so I am officially not in the camp of 100% watch the whole thing.
But I think that's just a toy thing.
But now it's up to the show to decide to prove itself.
Yeah. But I think that's just a toy thing. It's just like, all right, here's a holdover. Here's the 01 ride watch, just to like complete your collection of main rider ride watches since there's a new main rider. I think that's all it is. Okay,
I got a problem. I get that for the toys.
Yeah.
But that goes against the premise of Geo, though, in the same sense.
I know. But to be fair, what rule has the show not broken?
Honestly, that one up until this point. Like, honestly, that one up till this point.
I was waiting for you to say the form defeated by by either that rider's form or like one of the upgraded forms, which I can tell you, no, they broke that one last week.
Well, okay. To be fair, the whole extension that you had to add to that really broke the initial rule.
I know.
So, no.
But their exceptions to the rule have then been broken.
Yeah. But there shouldn't have been exceptions to a rule to begin with.
Yeah, not this many exceptions. I think there are like 7 exceptions to the fucking ride watch creation rule on the right at this point.
Rule number 3, don't ask questions.
That's what the show says, and I say fuck off, show.
You know, I feel like that's probably the only rule that it's actually fell through with. Because, you know, that also stems all of the problems we have with this show of no one asks anything.
Yeah.
Now I kind of feel like we probably should have knew this is where this show would have went.
I don't think anyone was going to expect Geo to go where it went on.
Very true. Very true.
Like, all this stuff looks neat and cool, and I'm liking this show on a conceptual level. But I need to see the production staff on this. I need to see what our synopsis is going to be.
Oh boy. When you said that, you know what I just happened to remember?
What?
We also said that Geo was going to be a good show based on the concept of it.
Fuck me, we did, didn't we? God damn it.
Oh, man.
I can't help when they at least do a good goddamn concept. Like, this is a good... everything looks good here. God, I hope the show's good, because I don't know how I'm going to feel about 2 bad writer shows in a row. I haven't had 2 bad writer shows for me, ever. At least in a live viewing.
I feel like at that point, I will just have to walk away for a while. Because, wow. Like, and I will put it this way. If we have anything that matches how Geo has turned out from beginning to end, that might just stop it for any kind of current writer. Like, I might be at that point.
Yeah.
Like, if we get a Geo repeat, I will not say a Geo 2, because we've already got that. But if we get a Geo repeat, no.
You're just walking away from Ryder for a whole year.
Yep.
Call me next year when we get the second Rara ever show.
It would probably be I would walk away from Ryder for a year plus, because I would have to let the next one go for a little bit. Just so that I could steamroll a few episodes and then get an idea of, do I want to keep on?
Yeah, that is extremely true. I want to say I have hope, but on the other hand, I know what's here. I know what we're currently dealing with, and I'm like,
I will say I have hope. I am not going to say that I have hope it will be good, because it's liable not to be. But I think I can fully say I have hope it will be a thing.
Yeah. I guess in adjacent news, would you like a picture of another decade in another drive?
An actual picture?
Yes. From the episode preview. Or next week's episode.
Another drive and a thing that technically shouldn't exist, I don't think. Because we technically already have a decade ride watch. Ish.
Yes.
If you could call it that.
Well, there's another decade. And here's another drive. Also, just for reference, I saw on Twitter someone say that the Another Decade looks like the final boss from Sonic Unleashed. And they're right.
I mean, I like the Another Drive.
Yeah.
I'm at the point with Another Decade where I'm like, I don't like it completely, but at the same time, what else would you really be able to pull off? Like, if we drop the horns, maybe.
Yeah. Drop the stupid dumb horns.
But at that point, what really distinguishes it from a beefier Decade helmet?
Yeah.
And I mean, Decade didn't directly have enemies, so...
Yeah.
I mean...
Also, by the...
It's not the best, but I don't know how you would fix something to make it work better.
Yeah. Also, for reference, Another Decade isn't factual.
Of course.
And I'm willing to bet, from what I know about the episode summaries, that Another Drive...
You literally just cut out after you said Another Drive.
Oh, Another Drive is probably Aqua, considering the Really? I saw the light go off, Discord. God damn it, Discord. I'm starting to think it's Discord.
I'm starting to think it's Windows playing with your boost levels.
Probably.
Although it could be Discord. I'm not going to say it's not. I have days where Discord will be super sensitive with my mic, and then other days where I practically have to shout into it. AKA last night.
Yeah. Let's see if this is better.
And it is purely Discord.
Oh, you know what it is?
What?
Discord has an automatic to determine input sensitivity.
Yeah, I turned that thing off.
Yeah, I turned it off.
Yeah. I turned it off and had it at a set level. Every so often you'll have to double check that, by the way.
Yay!
Because that's what happened last night. Discord decided it was gonna do something and be like way harsher on my mic than it should have been. So it wasn't insensitive like it normally does. That's why it was trying to cut me off last night.
Ah. But yeah, according to the episode summaries, Aqua is getting turned into another rider, so he's most likely another drive. Because Aqua also shows up next week. So, yay! Aqua gets to show up and do something for 5 minutes before he gets turned into another drive. Because I'm willing to bet that's what's going to happen. Because I don't think the preview has any footage of him actually fighting another drive. I will double check. Oh wait, no he does! Okay, so he's not another drive. Never mind.
So he's probably another decade.
No, Schwartz is another decade.
Oh.
No, we know who another decade is. Schwartz literally stole Decade's powers to be another decade.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Neither do I. I also love how Omagio continues to not be a factor in this fucking show, even though he's the entire point of the show.
Well, okay. Here's the problem with another Geo. And it boils down to one thing. He is shoehorned into this show.
Oh, not another Geo, Omagio.
Or yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is shoehorned into this show horribly. Like, I get that being the final villain, so to say. But wouldn't it make more sense for us to just ignore that fact and, you know, make it a point to, especially by this point in the show, us maybe learn that, oh, Omagio might actually be another Geo?
Well, unfortunately, DN stole the Another Geo 2 ride watch. So that's out of play again. Like, I guess permanently. Or it's in the same corner that Waz's, White Waz's book is, since DN took that as well. So it's over there now.
But I mean...
So...
Here's what I think should have transpired, and it would have felt like Omagio was less shoehorned in. Let Omagio be the driving factor as to why Sogo wants to get all the ride watches, to basically have the power to rival him to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Like, let that play out. Let the encounter that we had with Omagio show Sogo that is, I can't even remember his name, but the schmuck that's got the Another Geo ride watch.
Hear you.
Yeah. Notice how much I don't pay attention.
To be fair, Hiryu is kind of terrible. Like, his point should be something important, but he's not. Just like, you remember how Schwartz is responsible for the death of Sogo's parents?
Mm-hmm.
And the death of the parents of his classmates?
Yeah.
And probably the death of several kids from that school trip?
Yep.
Am I the only one who feels like this should be more personal than it is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and also Schwartz forced Sogo to be on this path where he is, to want to become a king, because he waymied him into wanting to be a king. So, literally, Schwartz is responsible for all of Sogo's problems? Why is this not more personal?
Very good question. But yeah, I mean, why couldn't we have that be the revelation, and then when Sogo winds up back in his time, question mark? It's like I've not caught up on the show.
What the last like 2 episodes plus this week's episode?
I think so.
Okay. Essentially, Hiryu, when he became another GO2, created an alternate history where all the other writers have replaced their proper writers, and now he's Omagio, essentially. He's the overlord, but everyone doesn't like Sogo still because he's Geo. So, they hate him by association.
So, okay. So is Sogo back in his time or not still?
According to the Raw, essentially Sogo kicked another GO2 hard enough that he reset it back to normal. He reset time back to normal.
So we're back to normal.
Yes, we're back to normal time. Everyone is back to normal.
So that divergence was for nothing.
Yes. Oh no,
Okay.
It exists so Schwartz can get the Another Decade ride watch, I assume. Because that's what he was after this whole time. I don't know what Schwartz's plan is. I don't understand what his end goal is. What is your end goal? Also, I think he stole Tsukiyomi's time powers. I think. I don't know on that one, but I think he did. And I also think he stole.
So we'll write that one away. Schwartz could just do his own thing because apparently the show's just going to let him anyhow.
Yeah, and I think he's also stolen Aura and Uru's time jacker powers too, so they don't exist. But Dian still has his, but he's gone now, so it doesn't count.
But anyhow, what I was getting at was, the whole confrontation. If Sogo maybe realized that Omagio was actually another Geo, maybe make it his point for endgame to try to make him realize that's not the path he needs to go down. And, maybe do some kind of weird something to where you create a late game new rider.
I feel like the show has accidentally stumbled into it a little bit. Because when Sogo fights Omagio essentially bitch slaps him around and goes, "You didn't do it right, go back and do it right." Thus proving that he's accomplished nothing. Like, Omagio still exists. Like, the timeline has not diverted an inch. And even with Grand Geo, because Sogo doesn't have the proper ride watch, he can't win. And oh, guess what? He can't get that until the movie.
But I don't quite get that either. Because at this point, couldn't Sogo just say, well, I'm not gonna go get the drive ride watch?
I mean, yes, but that would assume Sogo's intelligent in this scenario.
Or, the fact that, in a technical sense, we're on this new gray timeline from where we were at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Where technically Omagio shouldn't exist, period.
But he does, because Sogo has yet to realize what makes him into Omagio, which the show refuses to tell us why. Or refuses to give us that answer, or even hint at that answer. I feel like it's supposed to exist through Hiryu, but Hiryu is so bad as a character, it doesn't work. Because Hiryu has no reason outside of just hating Sogo.
Like, that's why I feel like that would be perfect for him to be the Omagio of the future. Because how better than to get back at Sogo than to run his name through the mud?
Yeah.
I mean, it would fit.
Mm-hmm.
And that I feel like at that point that would set up the whole for Sogo. He either has to get him to realize that is wrong, or beat the crap out of him and break another Geo Ride Watch once and for all.
Which, even with kicking him with all of the previous Heisei riders and himself in Grand Geo, no, still doesn't break it. Which makes me go, what the fuck will break this goddamn ride watch? Do you have to take a literal hammer to it? Do we have to take a space-time hammer to it so it can be broken for good? Because it still won't break. And I hate it.
Yeah, that is kind of
because
dumb.
it defies every rule we've established about another ride watches. For no reason. So yeah, Geo continues to make me not like it. And I can't wait for people to hear this and hear me complain about it and get on my case for watching the show and complaining about it, because apparently you're not supposed to do that. You're only supposed to watch a show if you like it and only say good things about it. Because sometimes that's the vibe I get from some people, and I'm like, no, it's fine if you don't like a show and you're watching it, because, you know, there should be someone out there that is at least willing to go, this show's bad, and point out the criticisms of it. Especially if you have it as a talking point on a podcast or something, you know?
Yeah.
Just point that out. So, you want to know anything else from this week's episode?
Nah. I'll watch it whenever I feel like catching up.
I was about to say, the only other important thing I think is that Aura and Uru, I guess, are going to team up with the riders and stuff, because Schwartz betrayed them. So they're good guys now, even though they've done nothing all season, except just stick ride watches in people. Granted, that's all Time Tracker has done all season, is just stick ride watches into people for no reason.
No, they've had a reason, trying to make a king.
Okay, they did that.
They failed to mention whether or not making a king was actually making Sogo into Omagio or not, but that's beside the full fact there.
Yeah. I still don't know what Schwartz's plan is. I'm like, what is your... Okay. Because I'm thinking through of all of the things Schwartz has done. Okay, Schwartz turned Sogo into Omagio, essentially.
Or at least into a vessel for Omagio.
But then he also turned Hiryu into another Geo as a backup plan? As a contingency against Sogo?
I don't...
What is Hiryu's role in all this?
Maybe to push Sogo to finish getting all the watches? Except that isn't what happens?
That isn't going to happen, and it's not going to happen in the series. The last ride watch is in the movie, and as far as we know, Schwartz is not in the movie. He'll be dead by then, I assume, because we're dealing with the Quartzers, who have more to do with Woz than they do with Schwartz. So, no?
Like, what I would think should happen with him. Now, this will not be what will happen. I know that for a fact, but I would think that maybe Schwartz is trying to set Sogo up to the point of getting the power of Omageo so that he can essentially steal that power and become Omageo himself.
Okay. So, why does he need the another decade ride watch in specifics? And why did it take him till now to get it? When Tsukasa's just been hanging around the entire time.
Yeah.
And also, all he literally needed to do was for someone to use their time stop ability on him so he could just stick the goddamn blank ride watch in him, which he didn't need Dian to do to start with. He could have just had Aura or Uru to do it, or he could have done it like way before when Tsukasa was first here in the show, except he's here now, and he's treated as kind of like the fourth rider of the series by someone I saw on Twitter, and I'm like, he has not been around to count as a fourth rider for this goddamn series. No.
To be fair, though, he has been around long enough to kind of outmatch anyone else that could potentially have been.
I guess.
Just saying. But, okay. Here's a big problem with us having another decade this far in. Tsukasa shouldn't have his powers.
Yeah.
Decade Ride Watch should have negated that.
Except he does, because I don't know. I also don't know where he got the Decade Ride Watch from to start with. Because nobody gave Tsukasa a blank ride watch for him to turn it into the Decade Ride Watch.
The only...
Yeah, he just shows up.
No, that might be where they're going with it. What if the Decade Ride Watch falls under the same kind of mentality as the Drive Ride Watch? Where Tsukasa might have stole it from Omageo. Because we know Tsukasa has this weird time/dimension hop that the show failed to correctly get right.
I mean, he was a dimension hopper, not a time hopper, but I guess that doesn't matter anymore. He can just hop time too, because fuck it.
But I mean, okay, and with the timeline shift, he didn't change. So that means that he traveled across that shift.
Yeah.
So even if he was in current time, he still transitioned between timelines, aka between dimensions. So that means that he technically has both. So please, come on. Pick one and go with it.
Yeah, because the end even refers to like the change the alter timeline is. Well, this dimension has certainly changed. So he acknowledges that this is a different world than where he's from. Also, as a question, where the fuck did they get their new gear from? Like, I know it's a nitpicky thing, but where the fuck did they get their new belt and gun from?
Dimension Portal X?
I guess. It's a nitpicky thing because it's not relevant in the fucking series. It's just dumb for me that Tsukasa just shows up with a new pink belt with all the new riders on it. I'm like, when did you get an upgrade, and is there a story here, or did you just like drop by somewhere and like pump it full of new stuff?
Well, I mean,
did you
to be fair, he only had to have blank cards and blessings from that rider.
So did he have a secret adventure with Double through like build? Or no, he's already had his adventure with Double, so it'd be like from O's forward. Did he have a secret adventure with O's through build? that we didn't get to see, and that's how he got his new belt?
Probably.
Why can't we have that?
Well,
Where's that story?
No, that's not how he got his new belt. That was how he got the rider cards. He probably just spray painted the belt in between all that.
That's probably right. I actually like that, to be honest. It's still the same belt.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to be fair, it is the same belt. It's just a different color now.
I also find it weird that Tsukasa at no point goes decade complete. Even though I feel like at some point it's like, why aren't you going decade complete? You have a form change, Tsukasa. Why aren't you using it? Are you not allowed because the new belt doesn't work with it?
Well, I mean, maybe it's because if he went decade complete with all of these cards now, that would kind of just be Grand Geo.
Very true.
Except less dumb. I might need to add that, actually. And I think, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I got an idea of what they were trying to somewhat imitate with the helmet for another decade. The chest plate for decade complete.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't like that it was on the helmet, but okay, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, folks. Geo's bad. Don't go watch Geo. Watch any other Rider series. Just don't go watch Geo. You're not gonna be in for a good ride. So that's my not so quick draw. But Tommy, what's yours?
Mine, I don't actually have any kind of images or anything, but it is a shout out to a run that I'm going to be doing for Resort Fest International. Basically, the any percent main randomizer I've been kind of working on, and I think I almost have some of the base of it down pat. So, trying to figure some of that out. But there will be a run with my any percent main randomizer. I believe it is looking at. Oh, okay, yeah. It will be after our show, Friday the 26th. So, yeah. If we even do one. I don't know if we'll do one. I might just let you do your thing for as long as you want.
I'll just let me do Fire Emblem for 6 hours. Okay.
But yeah.
I could probably use the 6 hours to get through all the tutorial and introduction stuff. Because I don't know how long the beginning of Three Houses is going to be. I know you get enough time to get to know all three groups of students before you get to pick one. And if it's anything like Fates, that's at least, I think, 6 chapters.
Well then.
Oh, nope. Nope, that's not it. Chapters, thank you. Yeah, 6 chapters. But I think this game has less chapters and more just time frame because, like I said, that first part for the school stuff, that's a full school year. So I don't know how many months you are in before you pick in 12 months. Because it's not necessarily a chapter a month. I believe the guy from Game Explained said he was about, like, he's been playing it for a week and he's at chapter 8, technically, of the story. Because there's a lot of paralogs and side chapters and all sorts of other stuff you can do before you hit the main story. So you can be properly leveled for everything. Or over-leveled, depending on if you feel like going that route. Yeah, I don't know. I'll find out in like 2 weeks.
But yeah, so my run there will be what will actually start the bulk of the Mario games in this. I say the bulk of it because, like, after that, when the stream comes back up the next day, it'll pretty much be a plethora of Mario-related games.
Yep.
Until, like, 5 p.m. Eastern kind of deal. So, yeah. But, yeah, so definitely I'll probably be setting it up to where we're hosting them whenever we're not streaming.
Yeah.
But I guess that'll actually kind of take care of that. So. Oh,
Being a look at
I saw that.
what?
OBS.
Oh no. OBS, no! OBS, stay with us!
Oh, the last time you did this, it really sucked. Don't do it.
Stay with us, OBS!
There it goes. But anyhow, you were saying.
Yep. Tomorrow, we're taking a look at the next 4 episodes of O's, 21 through 24. I forgot that these involved the Love Combo episodes. I assume you've watched the episodes?
No, not yet.
Okay. I watched them today. Because I didn't get to it yesterday. Yeah, no, it's the love combo. You also get to know a bit of Date's backstory. Which I am very curious on how you feel about that backstory. It's one of those cases of, wait, really? Because you probably wouldn't peg this character as having this type of job, but he does. It's that, and I guess technically a Goto set of 2 episodes, kind of. Yeah, I would say this is all Birth Brothers like development across the board, I feel like. Plus Shishota's debut. And then coming back around to Wednesday, I'm picking up where I left off on Bloodstained, and we will probably beat the game. I have better gear now, and a bit of grinding, and some better stats, so we should be fine. I just need like a crap ton of healing materials, because it's like a 2-stage boss fight, and oh boy, do I take 100 damage per hit in this fucking boss on both these bosses, and that sucks. And my health is only like 1,000 something, so I have 10 hits, essentially. Wednesday's that. Thursday is us doing more Yakuza 0. Friday will be V on a pre-show doing Marvel Alliance 3 for probably like 2 or 3 hours before we do Portal 2.
We'll
And
be
Saturday.
with portals.
Yep. And Saturday is whatever you're thinking for Rampant Gaming.
I have no idea right yet.
Do you feel like taking a dip into the auto chess genre?
Depends on how I feel then.
Okay. I was about to say, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing, and I somehow ended up in like 3rd place out of 8 people, so. And that's me having no idea what I'm doing. I can at least teach you on what the hell you're supposed to do. So you might end up better than me, depending on how the units shake out. Yeah, that should be our next week of stuff. So stick around to that. If you like what you're seeing, give us a follow. Tell your friends. We could use more smackers and more average viewers. That's the one stat we need up. The one stat we need up more than anything at the moment. If you want updates on when we go live at TG Saloon, and for topic, I'm Peace. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.